Tonight, Dr. Anthony Fauci grilled on Capitol Hill for more than 3 hours, fending off Republican accusations of COVID cover-up and defending the U.S. response to the pandemic. Now, Republicans focused much of their time hammering Fauci on the virus's origin.
Why was it so important the virus not have started in a lab?
Wasn't so important that the virus not. We don't know. We know
it was important to someone in the Biden administration, so much so that the top people at Meta, the top people at Facebook are asking, why are we getting all this pressure to downplay the lab leak theory?
What has that got to do with me?
I'm asking you because you're the expert on the coronavirus. I'm saying, why was the administration?
Did you cite this article at the White House because the NIH director asked you to suppress the lab leak theory?
I did not do that in response to anybody's suggestion to suppress anything. And I did not edit any paper as shown in my official testimony. So you said about 4 or 5 things, Congressman, that were just not true.
Well, we have emails to prove it.
Well, you don't.
Well, the assault was, relentless. And at one point, the Republican chairman actually had to admonish one of his own members for totally inappropriate behavior. Marjorie Taylor Greene refused to address Dr. Fauci by his name.
Do the American people deserve to be abused like that, Mr. Fauci? Because you're not doctor, you're Mr. Fauci in my few minutes.
And I've instructed her to address him as doctor.
I'm not addressing him as doctor. We should be writing a criminal referral because you should be prosecuted for crimes against humanity.
Out front now, Congressman Raul Ruiz. He is the ranking Democrat on the subcommittee on the coronavirus pandemic. He questioned Dr. Fauci during today's hearing, also a former ER doctor. So, Dr. Ruiz, Congressman Ruiz, thank you very much for being with me. So you just heard Marjorie Taylor Greene there, that refusal to use the word doctor. For Dr. Fauci, he is, of course, a doctor. What's it like to sit in the room and have that happen? Obviously, the Republican chairman of the committee admonished her.
Well, it was very difficult to experience, but it was in clear display that the Republicans had extreme behavior with extreme accusations that have been debunked over and over again, but it seems like it doesn't matter for them because they are still pursuing this very false narrative that somehow Dr. Fauci funded this research through EcoHealth that created the COVID-19 pandemic, and that he tried to cover it up and suppress the truth and bribe officials to change their mind. All of that is absolute nonsense. And we've spent so much time and energy trying to address that narrative, them trying to prove it, and not getting to the real business of preparing and preventing the next viral pandemic.
Which is crucial, and I want to ask you about. But on that lab leak theory, I remember when Senator Tom Cotton first came out with an article commentary about that. It was very hastily squelched. I mean, do you feel comfortable at this point that you know why that happened? Do you feel comfortable that that really was just because they felt they had other things to focus on at the time and it wasn't worth talking about at that moment? Or do you still have questions as to why that was really shunted aside and put as sort of a, at the time, you're really out there talking point?
Well, I think that the whole notion of the lab leak was bundled with the complete narrative that I had just mentioned about Dr. Fauci, Dr. Collins creating the coronavirus pandemic and that it leaked. Now, if you dissect the possibility that this could be a actual lab leak from the whole extreme accusations, then one can say, and we still say this based on the evidence that we have, that indeed it could be a lab leak, and it could also be an animal transmission origin, but it was not the entire package of the narrative that they were trying to push that manufactures distrust and puts a lot of public health's lives in jeopardy through these violent death threats that they've been getting.
He talked about those. He did also talk about some things that he conceded on. He conceded, for example, Congressman, that there's no scientific basis for the 6 feet distancing rules. He conceded there may have been negative repercussions to vaccine mandates. Do you still feel that he did the best that could have been done?
You know, I think that he did the best that he could have been done under the circumstances which he explained very early on, where we had thousands of people dying from this novel virus, and we were figuring things out as we went, and with more data, we were able to adjust. Now, let me back up for a second, because the Republicans try to put the attack on the no data for the 6 feet of social distancing as an attack on the basic public health principle of social distancing when you have an aerosolized or a droplet transmittable virus from somebody's mouth. Now, it doesn't take data to show you that if you jump off an airplane without a parachute, you're going to die. So we know that if you are far away from a person's ability to extract or cough up or sneeze aerosolized droplet, that you're going to be safer from receiving that droplet or aerosolized virus into your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Now, the question that was asked was there any evidence to show whether it should have been 6 feet or 10 feet or 50 yards or 3 feet? And that is no. So they had to pick an arbitrary number to make it easy for people to understand the concept of social distancing.
All right. Well, Congressman, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Congressman Dr. Ruiz, appreciate it.
Thank you, Aaron.
And